Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by Kashiyama. The NFL trade deadline, it's about 24 hours away, so let's talk trades around the Dallas Cowboys. First up, was there trade interest in Leonard Williams? 4 stars on this one. Of course, we use the past tense here because, well, it's not going to happen. You missed it. The Giants traded for Leonard Williams, which is weird. We'll get into it. But the Cowboys did call the Jets about Williams before the Michael Bennett trade. Now, of course, the Cowboys were out of the trade talks once they traded for Michael Bennett. And in all reality, and I think this is the fact here, the Jets' asking price was simply too high. He is now on the New York Giants, a trade that I find very interesting because the Giants just love defensive linemen. Find someone who loves you like Dave Gettleman loves an interior defensive lineman. The trade package here, a 2020 third, a 2021 fifth-round pick, which will become a fourth-rounder if Leonard Williams re-signs with the New York Giants. And in reality for the Cowboys, it would have had to have been a second-rounder. That Giants third-round pick, it's going to be at the top of round 3. Cowboys probably going to be at worst in the middle, if not the bottom of round 3, so it wouldn't need to be a second. The Cowboys, they just decided to go out and get Michael Bennett instead. They worked the phone lines, found a much cheaper rental option. I don't know if Dallas could have afforded to re-sign Leonard Williams. They might not bring back Michael Bennett, but all costs them in all likelihood is a 2021 6th-round pick. We finally have those trade details for you. That pick becomes a 6th-rounder if Bennett plays in 4 games. And he's probably going to, so I'm going forward and report it as a 6th-round pick. Overall, though, it's pretty good value there for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Bennett, I think, will play both defensive tackle and defensive end, again, in that Tyrone Crawford-type role. Now, Williams might play defensive end for the Jets. That's in their 3-4 scheme, though. Bennett does offer that positional flex. So, which trade was better? Type B for the Michael Bennett trade or W for the Leonard Williams one? Basically, which one would you prefer the Cowboys have done? Look, I'm a big fan of Leonard, but for the price, both in terms of the draft capital and the potential extension and the overall salary cap hit, I think the Michael Bennett trade makes a lot more sense for where the Dallas Cowboys are at and what the Dallas Cowboys want to do with their draft picks and their extensions. I'm typing in B for Bennett. It's not a bad trade for the Giants, just a weird one, but I think the Bennett one much better for the Dallas Cowboys. All right, speaking of Jets, how about Robby Anderson? Is he a trade target? I got some DMs. I was very confused as to why. Now I realize why. We'll get into it. It's fake news that the Cowboys are not interested in a Robby Anderson. This was literal fake news, by the way. Not that it normally isn't. There was a fan-sided headline that said, Cowboys express interest in Robby Anderson, and I go, wait, what? That's not what the report was. Yeah, fan-sided, I guess they forgot to read. It happens. Maybe they're taking notes from Mitchell Renz, who can't read also. That's not what the report was. The report from Adam Schefter was the Cowboys had interest in the Jets' Leonard Williams, not Robby Anderson, but they since retracted that. So if you saw that headline, I'm sure I'm not alone out there, the Cowboys were not interested, especially not for what it's going to cost. So would Robby Anderson help? Sure, of course he would. He's fast. He can be a deep threat. But assuming you have Cooper and Gallup and Cobb and Tavon all healthy, it doesn't make sense to give up what could be a 3rd-round pick for another receiver. That's a premium pick at a position that the Cowboys don't need to put a premium pick right now. Now, could they explore in free agency? Sure, but trade doesn't make any sense. So with no Leonard Williams, no Robby Anderson, who do you want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for? I am sure we're going to get Jamal Adams. I want him too. I just don't consider it all that possible at the moment. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section who you want the Dallas Cowboys to trade for. Now, today's show is brought to you by Kashiyama. I'm once again rocking one of their sleek suits. Go find your perfect fit at Kashiyama. Email them dallas@kashiyama1927.com. It's dallas@kashiyama1927.com. Custom fitted suits, they start at $300. You're not going to find a better deal for an elite custom fitted suit than the ones from Kashiyama. Go email them, dallas@kashiyama1927.com. So those 2 trades are not going to happen. But are the Cowboys not done making deals? I'm going to give this one 2 stars. The Cowboys supposed to be a quiet trade deadline. From a draft capital perspective, it was. Player-wise, maybe not so much. But the report from the Cowboys' own Brian Broaddus is that they are still fielding trade calls and making some trade calls. this is a very big if for the Cowboys, right? They're open to deals, as any good front office is. Looking at you, Cincinnati Bengals, Washington Redskins, you guys are incompetent. But it's a big if the Cowboys find the right deal. I think the indications we've had so far, Dallas does not want to give up a premium draft pick. They want to keep their first and their second and thirds with a few exceptions mixed in there. I think that makes sense for Dallas because you want those draft picks for next year for what could be a new coaching staff. That's why the Michael Bennett trade made so much sense. A future sixth? No-brainer right there. But if the Cowboys do make another trade, what position do you want the Dallas Cowboys to target? Let me know in the comment section. Maybe it's some interior defensive line help. Maybe you want tight end. That's an option. Maybe you want safety. If you want safety, stay tuned for just a little bit. We might have some updates for you on that one. Everyone, subscribe to the Cowboys Report because I got some bad news. Our Niners channel, our Raiders channel, doing really well. The fat cats here, the bosses at Chat Sports, they're like, Tom, if you don't get your numbers up, your subscriber number up, we're going to make you go do videos over there. I don't really want to do that, though. I would much rather keep doing Cowboys videos. So subscribe. We know 2/3 of you watch the show but aren't subscribed. Makes no sense to me. The link there is below. YouTube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. We mentioned safeties for the Dallas Cowboys. 2 stars on this one. 4 stars in my heart, of course. The report from the Star Telegram is that the safety is an area of focus for the Cowboys. Here's why it's 2 stars. We've heard that before, right? How many times have we heard, tell you what, guys, from Jerry Jones, from Stephen Jones, tell you what, we'd love to get some safety help. And every year they go, Juan Thornhill, we don't want him. Earl Thomas, not too expensive. So I am going to get my hopes up for the draft, of course. But for now, I'll remain, I guess, pessimistic on the idea of the Cowboys actually going out and getting a safety. Because they have Xavier Woods, who was hurt earlier this year, but has played pretty well overall. Jeff Heath, he's just Jeff Heath. How else can you describe it? Some people love him. He's the GOAT. Other people say he's the worst safety of all time. Bench him right now. It's an idea there. Now, I know many of you want Jamal Adams. I just don't consider Jamal Adams a very likely trade target for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there was a report today from ESPN that teams have called the Jets about their other safety, Marcus May. I would have interest there as well. Now, make no mistake, Jamal Adams is the better player pretty much across the board. Better in the box. May's more of a free safety for New York in their defensive scheme. And May's played 10 fewer games because of injury concerns. But I'd call about both. In the end, I don't think either are really available here for the New York Jets. Their trade buzz has been around players with expiring contracts. I don't think you're going to see Adams or May dealt. But do you guys want to replace Jeff Heath? I know many of you do. Some of you believe in Jeff Heath. I continue to be, I guess, kind of in the middle ground where he's a good number 3 safety. Cheap, special teamer, but I would love to find an impact player to replace him. So if you think the answer is yes, of course, just type in Y. If the answer is no, type in N. Now, the problem here is there aren't very many great options available right now in the trade market. First up, trading for Reshad Jones. I will continue to give this one 1 star. It makes a little bit of sense, but there are some pretty big buts around with it. Now, NFL.com said the Cowboys should trade for him. We'll give you the trade package because I hate it in a second. The Dolphins, though, have shopped Jones since the offseason. They've been trying to get someone to take him on. There's some decent talent there. He was one of the highest paid safeties. The problem is, it's his contract. Reshad Jones has a $13+ million base salary this year. He makes $11 million plus the next 2 years. Now, Reshad Jones, nice player. Not a premier player, though. And if the Dallas Cowboys, folks, were not going to offer up that type of money for Earl Thomas, well, then why would they make an offer for Reshad Jones? I don't think that makes any sense based on what we know about the Dallas Cowboys front office. And the trade package NFL.com threw together makes even less sense. A 3rd-round pick for a player that I think if the Dolphins don't find a trade partner, they cut him next offseason? That's way too much to give up for the Dallas Cowboys. So let me know in the comments who says no. M for Miami, D for Dallas. I think Dallas says no in a heartbeat. Now, the way teams value a draft pick, it's almost a 4th-round pick. I don't think that makes sense, though, here for the Dallas Cowboys. That's a lot to give up for a good player, but with that contract, that's way too much draft capital and just pure money capital in terms of the cap space. Giveaway alert for you guys. Do you want a free blazer like this one I'm rocking from Kashiyama? You can't really see it, but my name right there, too. Type 1 for yes, 0 for no. 1 because you want it free, 0 because, well, I guess you just don't like free things. Kind of weird, but hey, it's America. You can make your own decisions. That's 1 for yes, 0 for no. Here's how you can get it. If you want a chance to win a free blazer, go follow Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. That is at Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. Oh, by the way, if you DM them Cowboys, you actually get 2 entries into the giveaway. 1 for following them, 2 for DMing DMing Cowboys to Kashiyama Tailors on Instagram. Last rumor here of the day. How about a Karl Joseph trade? One we talked a lot about in the offseason because it made sense. 2 stars right now. I think there is some semblance and some rationality. Is that a word? We're going to make it a word here today on the Cowboys Report, if it's not, about a Karl Joseph trade. Of course, they were linked in the offseason, but the problem is, I think, it's not on the Cowboys side. I think it's on Oakland's side. Joseph is one of the few healthy and, dare I say, competent safeties on the Oakland Raiders right now because Jonathan Abram is out right now for the season. And yes, the Raiders sold Garyon Conley. I'm not convinced they're going to sell again. I think they might keep Joseph, maybe even add a front 7 or even just overall defensive piece of this team because they kind of need it. And in the AFC, they actually are in the playoff mix. Now, I would like Joseph's fit for the Dallas Cowboys. It's also why I like him a lot as a potential free agent target if the Raiders do not re-sign him next year. I would have interest. I just don't know if the Oakland Raiders are going to have a seller's mentality where you can get him for a fair price. Now, CBS Sports put together this trade idea, which was Karl Joseph, a future 6, which the Cowboys probably aren't going to have anyway because that's the Michael Bennett pick, and Jeff Heath. I do that. I think most of you do that because Jeff Heath's going to be a free agent too. But why would the Raiders do this? I mean, this is the type of move you make if you just don't want Karl Joseph anymore. Now, I don't know if either player brings you much in terms of the comp pick process, but the Raiders get older. They get no draft pick help for this year, and 2021 6, that's basically a 7th. Like that, I don't think that has value for Oakland. I think it's a pretty bad trade offer there by CBS Sports. Now, I want to see your guys' trade offer because as we've seen many a time, they're often better than what the people who are paid to do trade ideas offer because they don't put together very competent ones. So in the comments section, everybody put your favorite Cowboys trade idea. Heck, you can even do multiple ones in there if you're feeling aggressive today with about 24 hours to go before the trade deadline. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.